You have to be willing to take your ego out of it, have your meltdown, have your vent session, have a moment, right? Have a timeout. And then you got to regroup and go, okay, what the hell can we do here? And now when you really play the long game, this launch will be my most successful launch in ProjectME. When you really extrapolate it out, even probably over the next 18 months, because of the skill and the technique that I've learned and the proof of concept I've learned about doing this, I can apply it to other things and make a shit ton of money for myself and others while I sleep. And it's like the launch still was highly profitable. You're still able to have great success, but you've got to be willing to course correct. Tell me if this resonates, where you have this sinking feeling in your stomach, your throat is constricted, the one where you've poured months and months of energy and time and your heart and money into your work, your creative energy into the launch, only to watch the sales dashboard sit painfully on idle, like nothing is working on day one. And that's when like the most people are supposed to buy and no one is buying. It's crickets. I still remember staring at my screen. It was probably around like 8 a.m, refreshing the damn page every few minutes. My chest was tight with anxiety, and the launch that I had bet everything on was bringing in just a fraction of what I projected and truly expected. I mean, after all, I teach this stuff to people. People pay me to show them how to do this. And my mind raced with terrible scenarios. I was just flipping out. I'm going to lose everything. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Why did this work all these other times before and it's not now? Am I being cursed? Is God punishing me? And that night I hit a rock bottom. But what I didn't realize then was I couldn't see through the haze of panic, was that a failing launch isn't a failed business. And it's not even necessarily a failed launch. It's a moment of truth, a crossroads where the real entrepreneurs separate themselves from the dreamers, from the wantrepreneurs. So in this episode, I'm going to take you inside the exact system I discovered, developed, and refined after my own launch disasters and mistakes and all the wins. And this is the same system that has now helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I've worked with in all different industries. And I just want you to also hear this from me. Instead of giving up because of something not working once, twice, even 3 times, when you keep going, your success will be inevitable. I promise. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. In full disclosure, I am highly, highly emotional today. I have some next level trauma shit coming up, and this is clearly not an episode on that subject matter, but I also respect and know that many people listening are highly sensitive, are intuitives, are empaths, and you'll be able to pick up on that energy. And I didn't want you feeling like, oh, I can kind of feel something is going on and I'm not sure what it is. And that's what it is. There's just a deeper layer. It's not anything related to what we're talking about today, but I also am here to be an example of what I shout, what I share for you guys to do to have your ultimate success. And that is to show up regardless. We show up regardless for ourselves. And that is the opposite of self-abandoning. That's self-honoring. I needed to record this episode. I want to record this episode. I want to make sure that you have some tools and actions you can take and a plan in place for when you are launching something and it goes sideways. And maybe it's going sideways right now. And that matters to me. And what also matters to me is showing you and being an example that we could be struggling with something. We could have just been crying, which I was. And then I did somatic exercises and breath work and grounding exercises in order to record this podcast. And yet I'm able to come on here and be of genuine, true service to you because we can be both. We can be struggling and we can be greatly helpful to people. We can be in a spiral and we can also be of service. So one of the problems that I see that happens with both my clients and other people who have come to me, even friends in the industry, where you're so upset because a product you've put out there, even if it's an affiliate product or you're in network marketing, it's someone else's stuff. It's a brand new thing and a brand new item to push, and it's not turning out how you thought it would. And then you're looking at other people who are sharing the same product and they're cashing in. And then that brings up all sorts of stuff. And then when it's your own products, whether they're digital or physical products or their services, and you're so excited and you're putting it out there and you know it's going to help so many people, and especially if you've invested in working with a high level, business strategist like myself, or you feel you have invested in someone who knows what the hell they're doing, but that doesn't mean that they do, and you are dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, and you feel like, gosh, I'm showing up and I'm doing all the things and it's not working, like the sales are trickling in or no one is buying, and it's excruciating. It's so uncomfortable. It can make you doubt everything, your business, yourself, your knowledge. It is a mind fuck. And what a majority of people do, and what is a natural instinct for a lot of you to do, is to go into avoidance, is to hide, is to freeze, is to take your foot off the gas. It's a form of protection. It's that inner child within you going, this is scary. I don't like this. No one likes me. No one's buying. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go hide. And it's understandable. It is so vulnerable when you're putting yourself out there. And imagine, people who have a restaurant. Like one of my dear friends is the owner of my favorite Italian cafe here. It's where I get my salad I share. I call it my emotional support salad. How vulnerable, where it's all of her recipes, her ingredients, her name, her decor. And then you open it up and only a few customers come in, and the next day only a few and only a few, and this is your baby and you have major money on the line. You want to talk about a big upfront investment in a business? That's the restaurant industry, right? The beautiful thing about having an online business is you can start it for very little money and have very little overhead and margin, so you don't need a bunch of sales for you to have a successful launch. And you want to hide, but you can't hide when you have a brick and mortar business. You have so much money on the line, you've got to show up the next day. You've got to get creative. You've got to get clever. You've got to find a way to make it work, or you're going to lose your house because you have so much skin in the game. And the problem that I see with online entrepreneurs, or where you're heavily wanting to or leveraging, right, the online space, the digital space for leads for your business, whether it's real estate, whether you're a coach, whether you're a healer, whether you're a medical professional, whether you're in the beauty industry. And because you don't have as much skin in the game, I'm not saying you don't have the skin in the game emotionally, but because you don't have as much in it in terms of money, in terms of a giant lease and restaurant equipment and all of that, it can make it easier for you to take the foot off the gas and hide, because you don't really have as much on the line in terms of maybe losing your house. But the reality is you do have a lot on the line, because you don't want to go back and work for somebody else. You need to have this work because you want this to work. This is important to you. It's something that you want to do. You want to be able to have the freedom. You want to be able to live life on your terms and create option level money. And it really is. If you don't have anything in place that is almost like guardrails or protective stuff on a bunk bed, if you don't have something in place that forces you to keep the foot on the gas, you're fucked. correct. I'm telling you, that is like one of the biggest problems I see. And if you can take preventative measures up front and put those in place, you're going to win. You're setting yourself up to win. This is exactly what my private 2-month business coaching program is designed to do. I work with both brand new entrepreneurs starting at zero, and I have a separate program for established entrepreneurs. We just use the same application to make it very easy, and I'm going to have that in the show notes for you. I have opened up officially my spring applications. Now, I only take 4 people at a time, so these fill up really quickly. So don't procrastinate on doing it. And also don't apply just to apply. I'm just going to apply and see what happens. I've actually had people say that to us before. That's disrespecting my time, my team's time, your own time. That's not what this is for. This is for the person where you know you need to not only have the accountability and the support and the clear direction, but you need to have the guardrails in place so that you are going to stay the course and set yourself up so that the launch can't fail. So your growth is inevitable. So it is happening. Instead of kind of like chancing it. And listen, I did this with my first business, almost the first 5 years. It was not cute. I was playing cheap. I didn't know at the time there were people that you could hire outside of like big consulting firms, because this was a long time ago. Okay. This was 17 years ago. And I would do the, okay, let's see if this works method. It was from my ass. From my ass. And you do things from your ass, trial and error. This is going to take a long time. Most people end up quitting, and you get so frustrated and discouraged, you take your foot off the gas so much that you have created a self-fulfilling prophecy of it not working. I did it so many times. It was insane. It had nothing to do with my competency, my level of expertise. My other business, I'm very well known in a very specified niche of doing digital marketing in the health medical space, because it's a highly compliant, regulated industry. And so you have to know what the hell you're doing, but also be creative within a box. And I was well known, and it wasn't working. And I was working 12 hours a day to just get clients because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I would try things that wouldn't work. I'd be so discouraged. I would end up like going on like a party bender for a weekend, or I would end up getting sick, or I would just end up making some kind of excuse. Like, I need to go on a trip, or I just need to take like a week off and regroup and gather myself. It was like, what? And at a certain point, I was like, okay, we can't mess around anymore. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to go back and work for somebody else, or I'm going to lose this lifestyle that I rather enjoy of my fancy gym membership. At that time, I had a really cool, vibey, like single girl, LA townhouse. I was traveling all over the world. Not so much like first class 5-star, but like a 4-star, premium economy situation. And I didn't want that to go away. And my resilience kept me in the game, but most people don't have the level of stubbornness and resilience that I have. It comes from me being an extreme trauma survivor, and it's not always working in my favor, okay? It can work against me too, but making sure you have it set up so you have the odds in your favor of it working, where you have a customized plan to follow, sets you up to go into a launch where you go, okay, I have my ducks in a row. I feel confident about my messaging. I feel good about how I'm going to be sharing my offers and compelling people to buy, not convincing them. I know that I have all the things lined up for this to work. And then when shit goes sideways, which let me tell you, it does. I don't care if it's a book launch. I don't care if it's a new service offering. I don't care if it's a digital course. I don't care if you have a aesthetic practice and now you are offering liquid facelifts, okay? It is going to go sideways because that's just how it is. I work behind the scenes for multi-billion and even trillion-dollar companies, and I have never been part of a launch, product or service, that did not have drama. It's kind of like if you've ever done like musical theater, or you had like any kind of like performance stuff that you've done. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes. There's always something that happens when you're going live. Like for me being in the news business, this? There is something that happens in every single live news broadcast that you might not notice as a viewer, but there's shit that goes down, or you might notice. I mean, it was like it ended up on America's Funniest Home Videos. Those of you who remember that show, I think the show still exists, which is crazy. And, I'm from Chicago, and they put my city ass covering the state fair of Washington, which is a big deal in Washington, okay? And now I love me a state fair. I mean, I want to see the largest pumpkin in the state. And I had to milk a cow live on TV. Granted, of course, I've never milked a cow before. I'm from Chicago, okay? And let's just say this did not go well. And I think they're called teats, right? Which I don't like saying that word. That even grosses me out. But I had to be a, game time player. And we weren't pretending it wasn't my first time. That was part of what was interesting. Like Tiffany Carter, NBC, live from the Washington State Fair. And I'm going to be milking a cow for the first time, because in that area, probably most people have milked a cow. And I was expressing the teat, which really makes me gag even saying that. And the milk ended up all over my face on live TV, which looked like something else, if you know what I'm saying. So back in the day, right, there was not social media at that time. And I guess the closest to social media going viral is it ending up on various news stations and it ending up on entertainment shows and America's Funniest Home Videos. Thank you so much for that digression. I have no idea where I'm going with this, but this is one of those side tangents that I think you can appreciate. And I guess where I could go with it is you could look at that and go, that's career ending. That is what I thought initially. I was so new that I wasn't amazing at recovering from it. Like I didn't do anything to get myself fired. So that was progress, but I didn't play it off well. I was in such shock. And thankfully, they did cut away to something else. And I thought, I'm going to get fired. I'm never going to be allowed to do a live shot again, which when you're in the news business, you want to get the live shot stories. That's the bigger deal to get. And what ended up happening is, look, I got so much notoriety and I got not fame. Okay. It's not like I became famous for it, but I became more well known as the TV reporter from NBC who milked a cow and it spat on her face, basically. So it actually made me more well known and it opened doors for me. And the fact that I didn't do something on air that would have gotten the station in trouble. I didn't swear, I didn't scream, and I didn't freeze. Now I blacked out and I don't even know what the hell I said. I think I said something like, well, don't bring the city girl to the country. I said something like that. So I did pull it off. I mean, of course, it ran in my head how many other things I could have said to have made that better, because that's what we do when we're horrified. And then I didn't lose my spot on going live. In fact, then I became the one who was always at the fair because everyone wanted me at the fair doing something that I'd never done before. And then I was at another fair with a snake and there was a snake incident. And the same thing happened with the snake incident. I won't go into it, but there was another incident that ended up on America's Funniest Home Videos as well. And now I feel like you guys are Googling to find it. It was so long ago. I mean, it's possible you can find it in the archives, but if you do, send it to me. So setting yourself up so that you keep showing up is the first name of the game inside of a launch. In fact, I don't recommend any unseasoned launcher or entrepreneur doing this on their own without having someone like me by your side. And you can go, well, that's fucking self-serving. You just want us to pay you as a client. I don't need to take private clients anymore. I do it because it is so fulfilling and so rewarding. And I know how few people who are at my level of expertise even are willing to take on private clients anymore. And it can be really hard to find an honest, credible coach who actually gets it. And that's why I offer it. So you can swipe up. The application is in the show notes. My ass is not cheap, but it is not egregious. But only apply if you are really serious about going all in on this thing. If you're still in a half-assing stage and you're not at that point for the holy grail, then don't apply for the highest level way to work with me. You know what I'm saying? In your body if it's time. That doesn't mean you're not scared, but you're okay, I need to set myself up differently for this because I can't keep hesitating on launching something because that's costing you a lot by not doing it, or you're only like toe dipping in it, or you are actually launching and it's not really paying off. The risk and the cost of that, doing it over and over again, is you not having a business because you're not making any money. If you're not making any money, you don't have a business. You have a time and energy sucking hobby, which is a jobby. And we don't have jobbies over here. So let me tell you what went down in my most recent launch for Selling with Soul. And some of you are in Selling with Soul. Shout out class of 2025. And some of you have just been watching the launch. And then there's some of you who are listening who are coaches and consultants yourself. And you kind of listen and you watch all my stuff and you save all my stuff and you're trying to reverse engineer all my stuff and you look at all my emails and you try to mimic what Tiffany's doing because what Tiffany's doing works and you try to apply it to your own shit and it's not working to the volume you want. Maybe it's helped you a little bit by doing that, but it's not really getting you there. I have a little special message for you. And I can say this because I've done this too. Okay. I'm not like trying to throw shade at you. I've done it as well. Like, oh, let's just see like what this person is doing who's been in this game a long time. It's fine to go and look and see what other people are doing in an industry of like yours or with a similar business model. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's not customized to you and your personality and your exact ideal client and your nature. And my emotional based sales techniques only really work as long as you are also customizing them to yourself, because people will feel the difference. People can tell it's just not going to connect, and you're doing all the things and showing up, it's not working. That's why. Is because there's an emotional disconnect. There's a vibe disconnect. And I just want you to ask yourself the question of, if I know for a fact that I'm good at what I do and I do have a lot to offer and I do believe in what I want to do and I do want to help people and I want this to work. In fact, I need this to work. You know, I want that lifestyle. I want that option level cash. I want that freedom more than anything. Well, why are you only willing to bet on yourself so far? That's what I wish someone would have asked me early on. Even now, I wouldn't be mad at someone asking me this. I've had a version of it asked to me not that long ago. You know, why are you only willing to bet on yourself so far? Why are you only willing to invest so much? Why wouldn't you take out a business loan? Why wouldn't you open a credit card in order to learn skills and set your business up that's going to get you the return on investment? It's not like you're buying a Disney trip on a credit card. You're not getting another car. You know, why wouldn't you do that? You know, it's so strange. It's kind of like expecting that you are going to make a lot of coin without really putting much on the line. And I know there's a lot of fantasy marketers out there that make it seem like, oh, like I haven't invested any money and look at all of this that I made. There's always an anomaly, you know, there's always an anomaly, just like those like weight loss products, you know, we're in the US, we're required to put at the bottom of an ad, right? The results are atypical. This is less than 2% of people experience this, and it's in super fine print. So I'm not saying there's not an anomaly, but don't be in fantasy land about this shit. The people who are really cashing in on repeat, they're following a proven system. So here's what happened. And this is not to scare you. It's just to be straight up transparent and why it's part of being an entrepreneur. This is not like a wantrepreneur. A wantrepreneur wants everything they touch to turn to gold, it all to be smooth. And the second it's not, they're out. That's not being a business owner. I hate to break it to you. That's not how this works. Like, think of one business and one brand you can name and you can Google that doesn't have shit they have to overcome, low quarters of sales, drama within the team, customers getting mad, literally every single business in the entire world. And yours is no different, no matter what size it is. So all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed going into the Selling with Soul launch. I decided to invest more than I ever invested before in terms of time, energy, and money, so that this could be be an exceptional launch, because when you strategically invest your money, you do make more money. You know that expression of like, well, you need money to make money. And like people go, oh, I don't have money. It's like, okay, well, let's not take it so literally. You do it respective to where you're at. And where you're at means how much money you have, yes, and how much money you're making, yes, but also your palette for betting on yourself. So my palette for betting on myself increases pretty much on a monthly basis. So I started really teasing the launch, building hype for the launch, getting fresh people in my audience and nurturing them starting in January of this year. Okay, so 2025. So we put out a nurturing builder where there's something that is free, but it's targeted to the right audience on a subject matter, on helping solve a particular issue within your business online. And so it captivates the right people, where ultimately you're nurturing them down the road, where selling with soul just makes sense once they feel like they know who the hell you are and they can trust you. And so you have to build goodwill with people and be of service before you've earned the right to sell to them. Otherwise, it's disgusting and it's a turnoff. So we started earlier than ever, because I did notice in 2024, when we had started earlier, that we made significantly more money. So there's an expression of, you want to land a bigger plane, you have to have a longer runway. Same with a launch. You want a bigger launch, there's got to be a longer runway. Even reflect back to the Barbie movie. How fucking long did we hear about the Barbie movie everywhere, all over the world? Every place you turn, traditional advertising, social media, at McDonald's, I mean, on billboards. That's obviously with an extreme budget, but to the point where you couldn't not see it. And even though you might not have been interested in seeing the movie, all of a sudden you're seeing the damn movie. I'm still one of the people who hasn't seen it. I was told, by the way, that it could be very triggering for people who are survivors of abuse. So I've just not looked into it. It wasn't that important to me, but you guys can let me know. DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. If you're a fellow like survivor, trauma survivor, and you've seen it, like, let me know what the deal is. I am curious. So that is an example. They do this also like with kids' toys for Christmas. You know, now Elmo's doing something else. They've really gone deep with Elmo, man. Elmo's baking cookies. Elmo's a chef. Elmo's getting fit and working out. Elmo's going to college, right? It's like Talking Elmo, you know, Bendable Elmo. And they really start this September, October, so that your kids will end up seeing it, will end up asking for it, will end up being, without a doubt, one of the toys on the list. So that's what I started doing, okay? And I'm going in the weeds on this on purpose. That's the point of this episode, because I know you guys want the details. You're tired of people just giving you like oversight on things. You want the nitty gritty on what to do. And that's why I'm delivering it to you. If this is fucking boring to you, you know, you can speed me up. I know for sure on Apple Podcasts, I'm really excellent on 1.5 speed. I can even be pulled off on 2x speed. So for those of you who want to speed through this, but like if you're wanting to make money in your business, this is not something to speed through. Okay. I'm giving you the play by play. All right. So we did that. We're getting a lot of fresh people in the email list. People are loving it. Then I have all sorts of emails that I'm writing that are connecting with people's emotions, connecting them with me, connecting them with the brand, bibbity bobbity boo. That's all going on. And then I have my launch leader, as I call it, which is my 3 days to make bank online, like live. It's my big once a year event that I've done for several years. And so we started marketing that early, both organically and with ad spend. Okay. And like ad spend, you're spending real money. And you also have to pay someone, if you're not going to do it yourself, to manage those ads. This isn't like, I mean, it's still a tax deduction to advertise for your business, but like, you know, you're playing with real money here. So there's no guarantees in advertising, but I've been doing Facebook ads since they came out. So I am a strategist in those. So I do have like a leg up in that area. So I know what works in terms of creative and that kind of stuff. By the way, these ads are popping. We have the lowest cost per conversion to email, like insanely low, like in the low $1 range, which is very low in the business space, like coaching, consulting, service-based industry space, like insane. And we are getting more people signing up for my 3 days to make bank live, like exceptionally. Like I had 2 ads go viral, and an ad can go viral, particularly on TikTok. And of course, it was the ad I didn't expect to go viral. And I wasn't doing anything that special. I was like making a coffee or something. So I was like, oh my God, look at all these people signing up. This is going to be incredible. And I know what the mathematics are about, like 50% of the people who register, when you do a good job of reminding the fuck out of them to show up live, will show up live. Okay. So let's say there's 8,000 people. Okay. And I'm not giving you the exact number. So I just need to have it be a number that I can rattle off easy with math. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use a calculator. So let's say you have 8,000 people sign up. You can do the math, right, on how much money I invested to get 8,000 people, right? When I said it's over, just over $1 per lead, meaning email sign up, plus I have to pay to have someone manage those ads. And that's just money. That's not including my time and creative energy and strategy around creating all the different ads and testing all the ads. All right. Doing it properly, because you don't want to do ads from your ass, because you're playing with real money and you will fuck yourself. And I see way too many clients who come to me that have done that. So don't believe in some miraculous thing where you can just go hire some fancy ad agency that's claiming that they're going to make you all of this money on your ads. That's you falling for fantasy marketing. Okay. There's way more that goes into that, I promise. And I've fallen for it too. That's the launch I was referring to in the beginning of the show, where I said, like, I was tripping, I was flipping, I was refreshing. I invested $80,000 in a big fancy pants ad firm. And so in order for me to be profitable on that launch, I had to, at minimum, bring in net, not revenue, net, because you're playing with real money. I had to make $80,000 just to even somewhat break even on that launch. And it was a shit show. And actually, those are the worst ads I've ever had. And it was like, I'm not going to say the name of the firm because I don't want to get sued, although I don't think they could sue me because I have the receipts of how full of shit they were. But like, a lot of people hire them, and you've probably seen their ads on social media. Just saying. Okay. And I wanted to buy in, like, okay, they must know something I don't know, because all these brands and all these fancy people they're claiming have used them, and all these claims they're making with these screenshots of the sales and stuff. I didn't know that, because I'm not like a tech person. I didn't know you could edit all of those fucking screenshots. I had no idea that A, someone would do that, and B, I didn't know like you could do that. So, I mean, I guess people can counterfeit money, right? So I guess you can counterfeit the receipts. So I was not aware of that. And so I thought, combined with my experience with ads and my business savvy and strategy, they must have some sort of secret sauce, like targeting sauce. I wasn't like I had that much fantasy marketing, but I kind of did. I wanted to believe they knew something I didn't know. And no, they just marketed it in that way. So that was not cute. So you want to make sure you know what the hell you're doing. Anyway, so I have 8,000 people who sign up for 3 Days to Make Bank. And how I had done it the last 4 years is people end up in a private Make Bank Facebook group, and the lives are in that Facebook group. Now you might go, why would you do a Facebook group, Tiffany? Like, isn't Facebook kind of like old school and dead? Well, no, Facebook is not dead. Just so you know, you can Google the stats. It is not dead. There's a few reasons. One, if someone is willing to take an additional step of they sign up and then they have to then also join a private Facebook group, they have more skin in the game, even though they've not spent money. But these people are more qualified. They really want to be on the live. They really want to learn, just like for my private 2-month business coaching program. Why is it by application only? I've never done some discovery call thing. I don't do that. Number one, I need to see how serious you are and if you're a good fit. And then from there, if I think you're a good fit, then you get on a video application call to make absolutely sure it's the best fit so that you get the results and I know that it's going to work. I can't guarantee anything, and anyone who does is lying, right? Because I can't guarantee if you're going to show up and you're going to follow through and you're going to do the things. But in coaching more than 150,000 people worldwide at this point, and we've received thousands and thousands of applications, we can tell to the point where I have 2 people on my team team trained to cipher through applications of people who are like full of shit or who are kicking tires or who do applications just because they're curious of Tiffany's process. Don't think we don't know who you are who are doing that, by the way. So with the Facebook group, you do have to answer some questions when you come into it. And that again is another barrier, right? I want it to be easy, but I also want you to have to put in a little work in order to participate, because that shows me you really want to be there. And the people who aren't willing to do it and make an excuse, they're never going to invest in selling with soul. And I don't really even want those people, even in a free training, because I don't like that energy. So that's reason one. Reason two is you can retarget people in ads when you're sending them to a Facebook page and they're watching a video in Facebook. You can do retargeting ads for people who have watched the video, for people who've watched the training, people who have watched at least 20 minutes of the training. And so I always like to be able to have that metric. And the third thing is like the app's right on your phone. It's not like someone has to like download a new app, learn a new app. We're all familiar with the app. And I love the comments and the community capability of a private Facebook group. Do I sit there and scroll like the Facebook feed? I do not, but I'm participant in specific targeted Facebook groups, and I really enjoy them. I like the comments. I like when you're live that the comments save, unlike Zoom, where, I mean, you can save them, but like it looks like you're writing computer code from, the early 90s. And then some of these other ones like Webinar Jam, you can't even save it. So I love that. You can see what people are writing for questions. You can see people typing things like, oh my God, this is insane that you're doing this for free. I just learned more than I learned in a $10,000 program that I paid for last year. And then we can screenshot those and use those to build excitement and hype for people to come to the live training as social proof. Like, I'm telling you, this isn't like some throwaway bullshit sales fest. This is like a legit training. So it's always worked, by the way. Well, this year, something went sideways. And things have gone sideways, by the way. Every launch I've ever had, I'm not trying to manifest it. It's just part of the deal. It's just like doing anything, a live show, a live broadcast, like unexpected shit that you could have never planned for happens. And I'm a Virgo, okay? I'm a Virgo, trauma survivor, Enneagram 6, and a projector. Okay, I plan to plan to plan to plan. I literally have a plan A, B, C, and D. This is what I do with my clients. You have so many buffers around you that if something doesn't work, it's an anomaly or you've self-sabotaged. Okay. And I do not feel, I've really looked at it. I did not self-sabotage this or manifest this. So Facebook changed apparently some settings and did some kind of an update where people no longer, seemed like it was like geography specific, where people no longer got the clear notification when someone was live. Like they couldn't see when someone was live in a Facebook group. So when it was time, day one, and we had more people signed up than ever. I mean, people were tripping in the Facebook group prior to the live. Like they're in the actual Facebook group where the live's being held. Oh my God, I thought it was 2 hours ago. Like, I'm so excited. I'm talking thousands of people that eager, waking up to hundreds of DMs of excitement. I'm like, this is going to be wild. We're going to have so many people on the launch. Like, I'm asking friends to come help and be on their live in the comments to help facilitate, because there's going to be so many people. You want to know what fucking happened? People couldn't get in the live. Even when the people on my team were copying and pasting the link in real time to my live, they couldn't open it. I'm not talking like a dozen people, like literally probably a couple thousand people could not get on. My live had fewer people on it than I've ever had in running Selling with Soul, even from the first year. And you can see the numbers. And I was like, those have to be wrong, because there's glitches all the time. And I was like, well, those have to be wrong. There's no way. I mean, the comments were fire. I mean, the comments I couldn't even keep up with. The energy was amazing from the people who were there. But while I was on live, I guess what was happening, I learned, later from my team, is that in the Facebook group itself, not the live, people were like, I can't get on. I can't get on. They're scrambling, sending exact links to get people on, like doing everything. People could not get on. And like I said, 50% of the people who opt in for your live thing, if you've done a good job of reminding them, will show up live. Okay. And your whole thing is you want these people showing up live. When people show up live, you have an 80% increase in them converting into buying something. Truly, because they have more skin in the game. They've prioritized coming live. They really want the thing. There's an amazing energetic exchange. And if you follow my live launching formula, which is something I teach my private clients, you're going to win. Okay. And so I was like, oh my God. And it's hard for me to not do the math. When I saw the number of the people who were live, I was like, this is not fucking good. This is wild. I had to literally block it out of my mind. I had to go into another state, and it wasn't like in an area on the screen where I could put a Post-it note over it. I was like, this is really weird. So I convinced myself it was a fluke because it literally made no sense in any possible way, shape, or form. And that is what happened. And we couldn't have foreseen it. I saw everything my team did. We're sending the links, and we would click the links and we tested them and it was working for us. And then there were people arguing like, you don't know what you're doing. That's, it's operator. You can't go live. I can go live. And someone else is like, I'm in Germany and I can go live. And someone's in Australia. I cannot access the live. I'm in Australia. I can't access the live. I'm in Florida. It was like insanity. Okay. And I was like, okay, we are going to have to do something because this launch just went sideways. Now, people who don't fully understand or have the level of experience as I do might say something like, you need to work on your energetics. They might say something like, oh, well, I'm sure it'll be different tomorrow, or you can just, that's fine. People will the people who are supposed to be there are going to be there. I'm sorry, sweetie. We're running a business here. Okay. You will never hear this in a boardroom. We need to change our energetics. And I'm not saying your energy and your vibe and your nervous system don't all play a part, but all of that was right on point for me. This was straight up tactical, and we had to fix this. I only launch this once a year, and I know what results people get from selling with soul, and these people wanted it, and I wasn't going to let up. So I had to course correct. So when you have something going sideways in your launch and you're putting it out there and it's crickets and you've done the things and you're like, what is wrong? There is something wrong. There's a disconnect. Now, in this case, it was a technical disconnect, which kind of makes sense given what I'm an expert in, right? And I'm not saying I haven't had disconnects in other areas. There's been disconnects with my own mindset and some shit I had going on. There's been disconnects where I tested out new messaging and I thought I had it tested and I thought I had it pretty perfected and it didn't land. This is how we get better and better at things. So I said to my team, I was like, all right, we got to get tactical here. We've got to fix this. We've got to resurrect this. And there's nothing we can do. We can't go, okay, let's on day 2, now all of a sudden have it on Zoom. And that wasn't going to work because the people don't get the emails. A lot of emails end up in junk. People don't fucking read. Then we get people more confused. That wasn't going to be the thing. And I took a moment. So if you're in it right now, or you just had this happen, you need to take a moment and walk away, Susan. You need to go for a walk. You need to go through TJ Maxx. You need to go to a hobby store. You need to start cleaning your countertops. Whatever the fuck you need to do to get out of the state of having it be personal. Okay. It's a business. You need to look at it from an eagle's eye view, so to speak, if you don't have a coach like me to do that with you. And I took a step back and I went, what can we do here? And I went, we got to push the replay. We got to make this the replay is where it's at. I mean, look at how many people have pre-recorded webinars that are rolling around that they make all this money. So why go deep with that? We're going deep with it. It's happening. Just like you're tactical, I'm using a sports reference, which is always dangerous. But when you're looking at a football game, you're not going, oh, well, we're getting our ass kicked. So I guess we're just going to lose this one. Are you fucking kidding me? No, you huddle. You regroup. What we planned and those plays that we planned and what we practiced and what we thought would work isn't working for whatever reason. We don't know why. We don't have time to figure out why. It doesn't fucking matter. We've got to take a different approach if we have any shot of winning this thing, of correcting this thing, of resurrecting this thing, of at least getting a tie, or at least not making it to we're getting pummeled. We might still know the chances of winning are slim, but at least we're not going to have 0 goals, and where it's horrifying. We got to fight it to the end. So had to write additional emails, had to do additional posts inside that Facebook group, which is again why I love having that Facebook group, because it's another touch point with people. And anywhere and everywhere possible, push the replay, push the replay, push the replay. And it was not a replay that people could have forever. The replay was going to disappear. So there was a sense of urgency around the replay. There was a sense of understanding what's at stake of you not watching that replay, then leveraging all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments of people, saying stuff like, to think I almost didn't come to this because I thought, oh, it's just going to be another free sales fest thing. And I literally learned so much. There's people from years prior that we're using screenshots from. I applied what you taught in 3 days to make bank, and I'm now making $10,000 a month. Tons and tons of, literally thousands of those. So I'm going in the archives. I'm sitting there pulling all the best stuff, really hyping up the replay because it's genuine and it's true. So you want to know what happened? This is the winning result of not taking your foot off the gas. I had more people ever in the history of any of my launches watch the replays than ever and buy from the replays. I now know exactly what to say and what messaging to use and what energy to use and what to touch on and how many touch points are needed to communicate to get people to prioritize doing a replay and have it work effectively. That is going to pay off for years and years and years and years to come. In fact, now it's a proven skill that I have with a model that big corporations will now pay me to teach them what to do. And small business owners will pay me to teach them what to do. And guess what? I am now going to put out, which I've really not gone down this path before because I love being live. I think it's just from my newscaster days. I am now going to put out some kind of a course or a class that is pre-recorded, a launch leader that's pre-recorded, because now I know how to incentivize, how to encourage, how to compel people to watch it, all because of this shit show of a Facebook bullshit thing that went on. And don't think I wasn't swearing over here. This motherfucking Facebook bullshit. Of course I was. I mean, hello, it's infuriating, but I'm not in control of Facebook. I was like, where's this Mark Zuckerberg? And did I still lose about $1 million? Yes, I did. And remember, it's all relative, okay? At this point, we talk in the millions over here. I lost $1 million, but I could have lost 3. So it's like the example of the football game. You might have not won the game, okay? But you certainly came up where it was a close call. Wouldn't you rather have a close call? If I had taken my foot off the gas and said, well, Facebook sucks. I can't believe it. Oh, well, we're just going to have to work with what we've got. Are you joking me? Not just money on the line, but the people who genuinely wanted to be there and wanted to get the help. And I know how good of a product I have and a service that I have. So that's what comes out of it. But you have to be willing to take your ego out of it, have your meltdown, have your vent session, have a moment, right? Have a timeout. Wow, I'm really going deep with the sports analogy. Have the timeout, drink some fucking Gatorade, right? And then you got to regroup and go, okay, what the hell can we do here? And now when you really play the long game, this launch will be my most successful launch in ProjectME. When you really extrapolate it out, even probably over the next 18 months, because of the skill and the technique that I've learned and the proof of concept I've learned about doing this, I can apply it to other things and make a shit ton of money for myself and others while I sleep. And it's like the launch still was highly profitable. You're still able to have great success, but you've got to be willing to course correct. And some of you, if you're not sure where the holes are and you're going, Tiff, I don't know where they are. Like, well, you might not know because you don't have the level of experience that I have. It's kind of like me when I couldn't figure out why is my body so inflamed and I keep gaining weight and I'm already doing all the things and I've seen all the naturopaths and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm not a fucking doctor. Okay. I'm not a hormone expert. So I hire someone who knows what the hell they're doing that specializes in that stuff to help figure it out so it works. Or what? Or I just sit here and keep buying supplements and keep going to the gym and trying this and that and growing more and more miserable and feeling physically and mentally and emotionally bankrupt in my body. Oh, hell no. Same with your business. So if you don't know and it's a definite hole for you, you need to apply to my 2-month private business coaching program. So you can swipe up and get that. It's also here in the description on YouTube. Let me know if you appreciated this detailed play-by-play. I know I went in the weeds and not all of you might be interested in me going in the weeds, but will you take a screenshot, share this on social media, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Also, you can DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany and like genuinely let me know. Because if you want more episodes where I'm giving like a play-by-play, I mean, I even look like it that I'm giving a play-by-play, like in a sports, like on ESPN right now. I've got my headphones on, which by the way are the AirPod Maxes from Apple. Now, I was resistant to buying these because I thought they were egregiously priced, but then they came out with a purple pair, a lavender pair. And then I had to ask Santa for Christmas. I mean, they're a vibe, right? So I actually look like I'm doing a play-by-play right now if you go over to ProjectME TV on YouTube. So just let me know if you appreciated it. What would really help is if you tap the 5 stars on Spotify, leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you don't know how to do that, just Google it or ChatGPT it. It takes 2 seconds to do. It's just not like necessarily obvious, but you can do it right on your phone. It takes like 30 seconds. That really helps push out the show and it goes a long way. And share this with people on your team. Share this with a fellow entrepreneur who's struggling and can't figure out what the hell is going wrong and why more people aren't buying and why they're just having people trickle in and they're just absolutely stumped with it. This is what they need to hear. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you.